Here we go. Another Stephen A video. Look, I'll tell you. Stephen A say and do so much shit that not that I don't agree with, but it's just like, why? With the platform you have, why say the things you say? So anytime Stephen A is on my screen, just know it's for some bullshit. Just know. That's roll. Look, listen, this is my first time viewing this. Obviously, this was sent to me. Most of the videos that I do react to, people send to me. People ask me to react to them, ask me what I think about this, and I look at it in real time, make a video, and if I don't like it, I just wouldn't put it out. But this is real time.
What I can tell you is this. Numerous coaches, black coaches, called me expressing how they took issue with that podcast taking place. And I think you know enough to know that that's true. Some of them felt very salty about that. We certainly are not blaming J.J. Redick. You got your podcast. Maverick Carter approaches you about doing this idea. Who the hell would want to? I jump at the opportunity.
Wait, can I pause you on that? They were salty because he chose to do a podcast with a white guy, or because it hurt Darvin Ham?
Because it hurt Darvin Ham.
Okay.
Because it hurt Darvin Ham. So any of us would do a podcast with LeBron James. Anybody who says otherwise, that they wouldn't do a podcast with LeBron James, is lying through their damn teeth. I know I would. I know you would. I know Wendy would. I know anybody would. That would be an honor for us because he's one of the greatest who have ever played, and he's a basketball savant. So we're not faulting JJ.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there because it seems repetitive now. Why is everything about race to certain people? Black, whether it's black people, white people, whatever, who cares? Why does everything have to be about race? What is up with this? And to be honest, why is this take even spoken about on national television? How is this important to sports? How is this important to the Lakers? How is this important to JJ Redick and LeBron James and their podcast? Who gives a fuck about who is LeBron's contemporary on his podcast? Who cares? They came together, they saw a business deal, a business venture that they wanted to collaborate on, and it made sense for them. It's not any of our business. Who cares? So now this is really not even directed at Stephen A, to be honest. The only problem I got with Stephen A is why speak about this on your show? What relevance does this have to the sports world? Who gives a fuck about some bitter ass coaches that's not coaching in the NBA? Obviously, who cares? What it is, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. It's that people see JJ Redick and LeBron James doing a podcast together. They know that he is or potentially in line to have the head coaching position for the Los Angeles Lakers. And they think by the dynamic of the relationship that they have, LeBron and JJ Redick, that he'll get first dibs on it or he's going to potentially get the job. That's why other coaches are mad or black coaches are mad. Because if I'm that coach, why would I not want to coach LeBron James? Come on now. The greatest of all time to ever touch a basketball? Come on, man. But I wouldn't speak about it to that point. And just say if you would speak on it. I'll do it privately. Even if I was the person to tell Stephen A, hey man, I don't want this on air. Keep this between us. Stephen A, why are you even mentioning this? How was on first take? That's what I'm trying to understand. And maybe I can get some closure and more information as the video goes on. But as of now, from as I see it, 55 seconds in, I don't see any relevance to the sports world from this. I don't. Because they have a podcast? Come on, man. What are we going? So I can't have a podcast with a white guy now? if I'm LeBron James, I can't have a podcast with a white guy. What? A well-qualified guy that in JJ Redick. He's well qualified. What are we talking about here, people? Let's continue.
In any way, for doing the podcast or for the content on the podcast with LeBron James. But at some point in time, we do have to do this, Jay. As I said to Wendy last week, we have to remember the things that we've said about LeBron James as it pertains to his brilliance, as it pertains to controlling a narrative, as it pertains to being 2, 3, 5 steps ahead of others in terms of what you're plotting and what you're planning and what have you. And then that'll raise an antenna. We knew before the podcast ever started that Darvin Ham was on a hot seat. We knew this. Now, in fairness to LeBron James, when the news came out, hell, we celebrated it right here on this show. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to be great. It's mind the game. They're talking the game. I mean, they're talking basketball. This is fantastic. I mean, J.J. Redick's a brilliant basketball mind. LeBron James, we know what he is. No problem. But as the podcast gained steam, and then the spotlight became more magnifying for Darvin Ham, and then you saw an Anthony Davis after game 2 against Denver talk about how lost and, you know, we just weren't on the same page. We just seemed to be out of sync, et cetera, et cetera. We saw all of these things. Then we started having the others, and not necessarily us as a show, Jay, just the industry itself. Yep. Everybody was talking about how LeBron's had all of these coaches. You've never really heard him speak up for a coach, even though Rich Paul and them would say he spoke up for Ty Lue and stuff like that. We thought Ty Lue should have got the job. The Lakers shouldn't have been in a position trying to tell him to pick his staff, trying to underpay him, all of this other kind of stuff. We looked at all of those things, and we said, you take all of those things into account, this does not look good. That you got to like, and what I was saying on the air with Wendy last week and Molly was that couldn't have started it during the playoffs. Couldn't have started it after Darvin Ham goes to job. Did you have to start it in the middle of the damn season when he's on the hot seat? Because why? That's what some of the coaches were saying.
No. Does it matter when I started my podcast? So now I can't launch a podcast? Y'all making it political now in the sport? That's what it is. They're making it political in the sports world. Due to the timing of me launching my podcast, it's not my fault Darvin Ham is on the hot seat. Darvin Ham deserves to be fired. He did a terrible job. The Lakers, to me, I think that they have a GM problem. Aside from that, who cares? I'm focused on the podcast and the topic at hand. Why are people critical of 2 grown men coming together to do a podcast and talk basketball? Keep it basketball. Take the personal shit out of it. Who cares about your personal feelings? I don't care because you feel like it was a bad time. Who cares? You're not on the team. You're not a part of the organization. You're not on the coaching staff. Who cares? These guys just want to talk ball. These are two brilliant basketball savants. They just want to talk ball. I don't see the problem with it. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Literally, am I crazy? How much of this do we have?
No, I understand what you're saying there, but this is where I have to push back.
Sure.
If LeBron didn't want Darvin Ham as his head coach, don't you think there's other ways he could go about it rather than orchestrating a whole podcast with J.J. Redick? I mean, that feels...
Let me say this.
Good point, Molly. Good point. If I wanted Darvin Ham fired, I wouldn't make why would I make a podcast out of all things? Why? And if you go back to the first episode of the podcast, they said that this was already in the works. They had already talked about this a while back, but they needed to pull the trigger on it, figuratively speaking. They need to pull the trigger on the podcast. What is up? Am I crazy? Or people, what is going on? Please let me know in the comments. Please, people.
I am not in any way
calculating.
I am not in any way accusing LeBron James.
You're just saying the look of it overall.
Exactly.
You're saying the optics after the fact.
Right. I'm not saying he orchestrated something to push Darvin Ham out the door to get J.J. Redick the job. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not going there. What I'm saying is you are a person known for being mindful and cognizant of the optics. How could you possibly think that was going to look good?
What if I'm looking at it from a standpoint, I don't care how people look about it. I don't care. You got some people out here in the world, they don't care what people think about them. They don't care about an image. They don't care what people think about what they're doing. They just like doing what they're doing. If you're not hurting anybody, taking food out of anyone's mouth, who gives a fuck, bro? What do you do? People are crazy to me. Whatever. Hey, man, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Your boy is out. Until next time.